let's transition into what we should really be talking about.
How Terrell Pryor's the new Calvin Johnson.
So, I think the future of the Washington Redskins is Terrell Pryor. I think he is absolutely going to be not only unguardable, but a complete monster. You could throw. You had your moment. Drew, shut up.
I just don't think we're going to miss. What I was trying to say is I don't think we're going to miss Deshaun and Pierre at all. I think Terrell Pryor, Jamison Crowder, Jordan Reed,
Josh Doxson.
Oh, Jesus. I forgot. We have a first-round pick who's never played. God, I hope he's good. Please be good.
And who else do we have?
Josh Doxson. And then I actually think Mo Harris is going to be pretty all right.
Quick, do we have some? Brandon Quick? Brian Quick?
Apparently he's going up against like scrubs and training camp and torture.
All right, so last year, Terrell Pryor had 77 receptions for over 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And he had 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He had Robert Griffin III. He had Cody Kessler, Charlie Whitehurst.
I love Charlie.
Charlie Whitehurst still in the NFL. I remember when his team beat us 77 to like 13 South Carolina Clemson in my final year.
So my point here is if Kirk Cousins plays the whole season, let's say the over-under on Kirk Cousins for all, let's call it 14 games.
He's playing 16 games.
I think Terrell Pryor has something along the lines.
I can tell you right now
12,
that I hope nobody in my
Do you just want this to be your podcast?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
do you
we
just
all.
want to talk
I think we've had this discussion, Drew. You called it the Drew Gibbons podcast.
I think if Terrell Pryor plays more than 13 games, he'll have 1,200 yard receiving with 9 touchdowns.
I can tell you right now, and I hope nobody in my fantasy league is listening, that in the second round of my fantasy draft, I will be taking Terrell Pryor because I feel exactly the same.
Well, he might even be a receiver pick worth taking if you have that second to last pick in the first round. Like, might want to double down on
Jordan Reed
underneath. I love the 2 receiver. The end of the first round snake draft into the second round. 2 receivers. Take 2 premier receivers right there at the top.
Jamison Crowder, Josh Doxson, Terrell Pryor, Jordan Reed. I mean, that's we're talking some serious business.
And I agree that there's some question marks because I think anybody who questions Terrell Pryor is an idiot. I think Josh.
No, I think you can question him.
So Terrell Pryor is a little bit smaller than I am.
Drew just had the best stat ever. Did you hear?
No. I mean, it's impressive. But there's 2 ways to look at every statistic.
Can you say what you just said a little bit louder so everyone on the podcast can hear?
What Drew said was actually the best point Drew's ever made.
We're going to bleep this part out.
The 5 quarterbacks, he had freaking Charlie Whitehurst throwing him the ball. He had 77 catches.
Yeah, but
for 1,000 yards.
But think about. Can we talk about how many games the Browns were in and how many they were down by 1 billion and just throwing the ball?
But he was their only weapon.
Literally.
He was the only guy on their team.
Yeah, but when you're up by 30, I don't think you're that concerned about covering Terrell Pryor.
But I could then argue that on an offense that has Jordan Reed, who's probably the second best.
No, I'm not saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that you shouldn't say that nobody can question it. There are going to be those takes out there like, oh,
I think Josh Doxson
be
is
careful
definitely questionable. I think Jamison Crowder might be the most underrated. This might be a stretch to say this, but I think he's definitely the most underrated receiver in the NFL, and I think he borderline is the most underrated player in the NFL. He was a absolute monster down the stretch last year.
I think Jamison Crowder might be the most underrated wide receiver in the NFC. Who's going to be an absolute stud.
He was incredible down the stretch for us last year. He really was.
Yeah.
He was our second best wide receiver behind Pierre.
Yeah, I agree.
And Jordan Reed was our best player when he played.
Yes.
He is so good, by the way.
He is.
I know everybody rides Gronk and everything, but...
No, I take Jordan Reed over Gronk, personally.
I mean, they're both injury-prone as crap, but...
Last year, Jamison Crowder played 16 games.
Yeah.
He had 67 receptions for 847 yards, and he had 7, I repeat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns.
The guy gets the ball into the end zone.
But do you guys not remember that he wasn't targeted earlier in the season?
Does that get... No, he wasn't targeted. And does that have his yak on there? I'll bet you his yards after catch. I bet you...
Whoa. What do you mean on there? I'm just ripping this off the top of my head, bro.
I'll bet you that if he had 948 yards receiving, I'll bet you...
847.
Yak.
No, yards last year.
847? I'll bet you half of that is yards after catch.
I would probably not disagree. I'm trying to figure it out.
Because he would catch it and take it to the house. He did that a couple times.
I mean, that's what he did at Duke. He tore up the When that was Office Talk with Drew Gibbons, well, Drew and O.T. Gibbons. You can find them somewhere on the internet. I'm just making sure. Sorry, I'm trying to produce this show at
Corey
the same
did
time.
no work at all.
Yeah.
He'll get back onto it.
It's
I'll
tough.
Get back onto it.
If you heard that little spitting noise, though, you know it is time for
Our finishing segment.
which is called the Tobacco Rappo. Shout out to Nick Maestri, my older brother, for inventing this segment.
Yeah. Brilliant idea.
Very brilliant idea. And if you all recall, on our last episode, we briefly mentioned that we were going to go see the Dark Tower movie, which is the best sports movie ever.
Because it's
Well, that's what we predicted
shooting.
it to be, because shooting is a sport. Well, I
Accordingly.
have Nick's review of the movie here, and I'll play that for you
Now.
right now. Or not.
Maybe not right now.
Yo, what up? It's your big boy, Nick Wiggle Waggle, the bad boy of the DC Daily Sports United podcast, Hockey Andersley show that you guys remember from last week's episode. Just here to drop a quick line about what we promised from last week about reviewing the biggest shooting sports movie of the year, The Dark Tower. It was fun. It sucked. It was terrible.
Really?
My little brother Jack threw a freaking Molotov cocktail at the screen. The whole theater burned down. A bunch of people died, and we laughed. All right. Hope y'all take it easy and sleazy. Love y'all. DC Nation, Party Town, Sports Uptown podcast. Go Getters. Love you.
So that was Nick Maestri reviewing the Dark Tower movie.
DC Sportstown United Anders Lee Hockey. I don't even know what he just
So
said.
in case
That
you,
was awesome, though.
In case that didn't convince you, you should probably go see the Dark Tower. Good time. Or at the very least, somebody will burn down the theater near you. Yeah, what else do you have here? Final thoughts during the Tobacco Rappo.
I just wanted to touch base back on those wide receivers. That was a good little clip by Drew and OT again in Office Talk.
I hope they don't start expecting to be paid
Right, they're gonna
for their content, because we definitely get paid.
yeah,
by-
right. All our sponsors
the
out
internet.
there, Tobacco Rappo.
Yep.
No, but I wanted to touch base. He said something about Jamison Crowder being the second best on the Redskins. I actually think he's going to turn out to be our best receiver. I mean, I know we have pieces. Terrell Pryor is going to be a stud. That point that he made about 77 receptions and 1,000 yards with 5 different quarterbacks is ridiculous. He's huge. I was watching the video today. Josh Norman was covering him, and I couldn't believe how big Terrell Pryor was. And Josh Norman's not a little corner.
He's not a big corner.
Yeah, but I am really looking forward to his numbers. Sad he's only on a 1-year deal because I think
Somebody's going to take him.
Yeah.
He's going to have a huge year with us, and then somebody's
we
going to
could have really gotten a steal and signed him for at least 2 years. I mean, 1 year for $8 million out of him.
It's going to be an Ian Desmond type deal where he goes, lights it up for the Rangers, and then signs with Colorado. I don't know. Did I just predict Terrell Pryor going to the Denver Broncos? I might have. Who knows?
That'd be kind of epic.
The
But
best podcasters predict things before they happen. So,
maybe to
next
Miami
year-
with Jay Cutler.
look, all I ask is that next year, if Terrell Pryor is wearing a Denver Broncos jersey, you come and follow the podcast. just
Just
click,
our Twitter.
just click that follow button. Please, mash the follow button. That's my final thought is, for the love of Pete Rose, let's just get some followers. I mean, I don't think we're great, but I don't think we're that bad.
I mean, I actually think we're pretty entertaining.
Well, yeah, we entertain ourselves. I think we have some decent takes.
Yeah.
I don't know, but let us know what we can do to get you to at least follow. You don't even have to listen to us. Just follow us. That would be great. We'll send you a thank you card.
Yeah, maybe.
hmm?
Yes. Or
Yeah.
and a shout out.
Probably not.
More so a shout out.
Yeah, shout out Nick, our only follower, my brother, who's also on the show. But, yeah, it's kind of an abbreviated episode. 25 minutes. It's not too abbreviated, but that's really what we got for you today. We'll
We'll come back more prepared tomorrow.
Yeah, when Corey hasn't been driving all day and I haven't had to
Tired.
Do tough work like getting lunch at Nats Park with Mike Rizzo.
Real tough job.
Really tough.
You had one job.
I got dinner with Dusty Baker next Monday.
Really tough job. I'll tell you what, that's difficult.
Yeah.
But I think that pretty much, unless you have another thought, but I think...
I don't know, do I have another thought?
That pretty much final thoughts.
Yeah.
Final
thoughts.
thought.
I don't know, but I'm not ready to click the button yet.
All right. So, this tobacco wrappo, we can talk about whatever we want. I'm going to be quitting tobacco usage tomorrow.
Great. So that's the end of this segment.
No. It takes one to tango.
Yeah. Well, this will be your quitting mechanism. Every day that we record, you
I'll
say
vent.
No. Do you just say whether or not you
Have made it a day?
Yeah.
There you go.
All of our thousands of listeners can hold you accountable.
Also, I have 2 people that are going to call in this week at
Who?
some point. Mac wants to call in,
Okay.
and Brady wants to call in about DK DraftKings.
Who's Donkey Kong?
DK DraftKings. They just came out with the first week 1, actually, pricing-wise for DraftKings in fantasy football.
Why?
Why?
It's way too soon to do that.
I don't know, but he texted me immediately and told me. And Terrell Pryor and Kirk Cousins are really cheap, apparently, so
Good.
I'm going to have to do some research and get on that as well.
You had to just drop a bottle cap, didn't you?
The table's a little slippery. Migos.
Now we should probably end the show.
All right. Well, that does it for our final segment of the day. Catch us tomorrow on another episode of DC Sports Daily
Follow us on Twitter, please.
at DC Sports Daily P1.
At DC Sports Daily P1.
I didn't mess it up that time.
Correct, you did not.
Oh, and then you can see Jack's great picture with Mike Rizzo.
Yeah,
outside
you
of
can
that
see
park.
a picture of Mike Rizzo.
And Jack.
What other Twitter profile offers you that? A picture of Mike Rizzo and me. I can guarantee we are the only account on Twitter that has that picture.
Well, of you.
Of me and Mike Rizzo. So go and
Catfish
follow. Please. If we don't have at least 13 followers by tomorrow's episode,
we're done.
No, we're not done. We're going to start releasing 8 episodes a day, though, just to flood your timeline. All you Spreaker users and wherever else you're seeing this, you're just going to get lots and lots of notifications about our podcast. You're going to say, darn, I should have just followed him on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, please, follow us, email us about how much you like /hate/ want us to get off the internet at dcsportsdailypodcast@gmail.com. That's dcsportsdailypodcast@gmail.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a blessed evening.
Good night.